All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Guys Podcast. Today we are reviewing the new Black Panther movie, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. We got all five of us here today. We just got back from the movie. Let me give a quick synopsis if you don't know this movie. The people of Wakanda fight to protect their home from intervening world powers as they mourn the death of King T'Challa. I did not have. I came a little unprepared. I got to look up the Black Panther.
Jeez,
Rotten Tomatoes. I know.
Wait, you don't do
I
these
know.
off the dome?
I don't usually do them off the dome. I kind of just go to Rotten
Oh.
Tomatoes website.
Exposed.
We got to
Yeah.
restart the whole episode.
Just to kind of give you guys the magic behind everything. And there we go. I stalled long enough. Okay, it's got 84% critic score and a 95% audience score. What did you guys think of this movie?
Who wants to lead us off? This is a good movie.
The
end.
I'll lead us off. So what I really enjoyed about this movie, obviously, I'm Josh just said it. We're gonna spoil the hell out of this movie. That's what we do here.
Spoiler alert.
Break it down.
Also go download and listen and subscribe to the YouTube.
Please do so. But so this movie did a great job. I think with them starting off with the funeral really just set the tone for the whole fucking movie. Going into it, I didn't know. I assumed that the funeral was a thing. Maybe someone had sent a tweet that it was going to be a thing, and that's how I knew about it. But for them to do it right at the beginning, it sets the tone that everyone's fucking grieving. And like as we've been talking about, as we just covered 42, it's sad as fuck. You know, it's sad to realize in real life now Chadwick Boseman is gone. We'll never get to see another movie with this great actor. And for them to start with that, then it's just like we're almost lined up with them. Obviously, it's different. You know, it's a superhero in a movie versus a real life actor that's fucking amazing. But I thought that was a great twist to it, I guess, because again, I didn't know. I was afraid that they were going to use his death in a not great way. You know,
They don't even not to cut you off, but they don't even show the Marvel thing first. It jumps right into Shuri trying to figure out what's going on, and they just say that I do really like how they handled it. It was just like an unknown.
We couldn't have done it any better.
No, you couldn't have. That was perfect. There was no he wasn't killed in battle or anything like that. No, it was real, and I mean that's what happens in real life. We try to do everything that we can to save anyone, no matter what. But I mean, she couldn't figure, and I thought that like they set the tone. It just hits right. You're running right from the movie start. You're like, holy shit. Okay, you're emotional. You're crying in the first 10 minutes of the goddamn movie. They don't skip a beat.
Yeah. I mean, that was definitely like the make or break for even when they announced that they were still going to continue like doing Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
And obviously they had to rewrite the entire script, which isn't easy.
No.
And I think that doing it like the most realistic way in the way that they did was perfect. They couldn't have done it any other way. And like you said, where he was in battle and he just dies, or like someone assassinates him, or, you know, just something crazy like that. But I love how the beginning, like you said, they don't even do the opening like Marvel credit.
No, that
roll,
comes
or not
like
the credit
5
roll.
minutes
which
after.
also we'll talk about that in a
It
second.
starts in pure black, just like how Black Panther 1 started too. It starts with talking and it's a black shot into like a scene.
Well, Endgame started like that too, right? Whereas like it showed Hawkeye on the farm first and where he was when the snap happened, and then it did the
They did that
Marvel
with Infinity
logo.
War too. It was just like the murmurs of Thor's like
the radio signal.
Yeah, the radio signal. And it just hopped right into like running, just here you go, get ready.
Isn't like we can't like this is a Black Panther 2 episode, but I'll never forget like that was the first experience in the MCU where we were in a theater and like you're waiting for those MCU like the intro music to happen, and it's just like a dark, chilling, like utter like radio silence, like a muffled noise, and we're like, what the hell? And then you just see everything happen right off rip.
I mean, that's what this was.
It was. I mean, that's
it's just
like,
right into madness, right into chaos.
No halt. It's
a cold open.
Sit down and go.
It is.
Yeah.
I really like the way they handled the intro. Honestly,
it's perfect.
Ryan, we're kind of talking about that right now with like how it's all different. The fact that they found a way to actually like make it more of like a memory of like Chadwick Boseman, just scenes. That was so cool.
I said they were
And
gonna
they
do
say in the
that.
movie too, they say that it was just an illness, right?
Yeah,
They
and
don't
they said
specify
that
what
he
illness, though.
battled it himself, which I mean, again, in
He
real
kept it
life,
away
no
from
one,
everyone.
no one knew in real life Chadwick Boseman was sick, and like so they rolled with it like that. And again, it just the pairing that they did to the movie to real life to the fans of Chadwick Boseman that
And just a service to him was
inside
perfect.
one day,
Mhm.
and it was just like breaking news: Chadwick Boseman is dead. And that's fucking again, like Aiden said, they had to rewrite this whole script, dude. Like they could have done it terribly. They could have done it a cheesy way, like killing him.
They
and
could have
actually-
recasted him, which they
Yeah.
really couldn't. Like, I'm glad that wasn't even like a choice. Like,
No,
Yeah.
that I think
If
they
they would have
like,
recasted
Marvel
him,
knew
that
if
would have left a sour taste, I think.
exactly. I think everyone.
yeah,
in the
and I
MCU
mean, but that's the thing; it would have
would've
taken
been
away from the
upset.
entire story. Like, if they were to recast him, you would watch this and literally not pay any attention to the story and what's going on. You would just
Well,
watch the new
That's why I
Black
think
Panther.
that's why I think this movie's so good. Just remember how far in development they were with this movie. And
Yeah.
when the fact that, Chadwick Boseman died and the fact that they still were able to kind of turn this into something that was still visually
Remarkable.
I was gonna
remarkable,
say his passing
full
almost
plot and everything.
was critical to the plot. I mean, the whole time with, once we get into it more, but there being an enemy, and you kind of, I told Josh this, I go, this is one of those few times where you're like, shoot, can they handle this? Like Wakanda, especially without the Black Panther, like you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know if they can handle this kind of threat. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, when you first see, they show up. I can't think of the name of the people.
Talk about Namor and his gang.
Telecons.
Yeah, but what is the name of their people? Like,
Telecons.
okay, the
Oh, yeah.
Calicons.
Tele.
Telecons.
Telecons.
Telecons. Sorry.
Yeah, they're legally not able to call it Atlantis.
Ah,
They literally changed the name. That's true. So
Because it's DC, right?
yeah, it's DC. I think in
That
the
makes
comics,
sense.
so they called it Atlantis, but for the movie, they had to
I
change
hate
it.
how they always fuck each other over by buying rights to something like that.
Who the hell buys the rights
Hey,
to
I
props
Atlantis?
think Namor was first.
It's-
Namor
it's
was
fictional.
before
It doesn't
Aquaman.
even.
Props
Yeah,
to
in
so
comics.
in realistically, comic debut, like the ideology or like the idea of Namor was before Aquaman, but that's one of the two franchises where DC got the better of it. They got Aquaman.
Well, yeah,
Aquaman
and,
did a better job. Like it picked up more.
and you got to think too. Aquaman's like a main part of the Justice League
Yeah.
and all the movies and comics and like animated shows and everything like that. So whereas Namor's just kind of like this anti-villain kind of character, not
I
an
li-
agent villain.
I
so-
liked him. The one thing I didn't though that I felt cheesy, just real quick, Mike, the wings on his feet. I thought that was silly.
Oh, I thought that was pretty sick.
Really? I thought that was kind of.
better.
Cheesy-
And
it's
did
cheesy
you
a
catch,
thought.
bro? He fucking called himself the first fucking mutant, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
okay, so
Dude,
when
when
you
he
guys saw it,
said
was there any
that-
pop in your theater? Because
No,
there's no
our
pop.
theater was fucking quiet, but me and I went with a coworker, and we went because we like both knew that we were gonna geek out. And when he said mutant, we both like snapped and we're like, "Yo, what the fuck?" And like no one else in the theater really even
I'm
said
a
anything.
Yeah, so I knew before going into the movie that he was like regarded as the first mutant. He's 500 years
cool.
old. Yeah, but when I heard him say mutant, I go, and no one, the whole theater's quiet around me. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm like,
but
this is
also
pretty exciting, but whatever.
that was I think it's another thing too with the tone of the movie, with it being a grieving film. It almost would have felt weird to clap, like the tribute.
Yeah,
they
this
do at
was a
the end,
serious
like I
movie.
genuinely like had tears in my eyes. Like there wasn't even any point in clapping when you see Chadwick Boseman. And again, before we get away too quick, like too far away from it, the opening Marvel scene, and they dedicated it to Chadwick Boseman, and they had it all in purple to go with the
Cool.
Black Panther colors. Dude, I've never
I
heard
said
a
they
movie
were gonna do
theater
that.
so quiet. It almost
could
felt
hear a
like
pin
and
They did a
probably
moment of
did-
silence.
Yeah, dude, but it almost felt like they were playing like a sound that you couldn't hear because you couldn't like it felt like you were underwater or something watching that credits.
Yeah.
like everyone stopped eating their popcorn.
Yeah,
You could hear a
everyone.
pin drop.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm glad. Like, and again,
Chills.
I watched this in the theater 2.5 hours away from you guys, and it sounds like we all got the same fucking experience. Like, that's like such a cool thing.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
No,
it's
that's-
definitely, it's like claustrophobic, man. Right at the beginning, like you're
Mhm.
just, like you said, you feel like you're underwater, man. Like
Mhm.
it was sad. I mean, I didn't really get too emotional. I felt like it was very emotional,
Mhm.
but not enough to where like, I mean, I didn't shed a tear. I mean, yeah, like you're
I
sad and all that,
had tears
I
coming
did.
down my face
like,
at the end.
yeah, I mean,
We'll
I'm
talk
sure a
about
lot
that
of
later.
people did.
I
I
didn't
could hear
sit there
people.
bawling
I'm a-
like Toy
Yeah,
Story.
no, but I
but
mean, it was very emotional. But just to like, quick spoiler. I mean, we're not going to the end of the movie, but I just want to get your guys' take on: do you like that they didn't CGI Chadwick at all, and how they just
Yeah,
made it flashbacks, or did you
I-
wish you would have seen just
Yeah.
a little bit of him?
So
like,
after the fact, I think it would have been like this is the only place I think it would have worked if they would have CGI'd him or like put him in would have been in the ancestral plane.
Yup.
But at the same time,
I was
it made
nervous they were.
sense. It
Yup.
made sense
I'm
though
glad they
because of
didn't.
his Shuri's
too.
reasoning for fucking going there. It's the only
Yeah.
reason when you figure out that it actually made sense for Killmonger to be there.
oh yeah,
Which-
it's perfect.
Like yeah, it
Caught
made
me
all
off
the
guard.
sense.
Did
No,
anyone?
no, no. While we're on that topic, I would have literally bet any money in the world that he would have showed up in this movie after.
I
the announcement
agree.
of Chadwick
I
Boseman.
agree. And then that's when I realized Marvel actually got their shit together for this one.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
they
it was
weren't
good.
The
gonna be
one, okay,
like a cash grab was my biggest concern about this was that they were just gonna like find a way to like milk it somehow, you know?
Yeah, nah. I mean,
How-
they did. We'll get into that later. It is
Yeah.
100% cash grab.
Mhm.
But we'll talk more about that later.
Well, I mean, okay, let's be honest here. And I really like this movie a lot. A lot, right? But if there was a
probably
reason
the
to
best
not
Marvel
make a
movie we've
Marvel
seen in
movie,
the past 2 years.
but if there was a reason to not make a Marvel movie, this would be it, right?
Yeah.
Star passing away, there'd
Yeah.
be right. I mean, and they hadn't even started filming yet. The script was written, but that was it.
But Black
but
Panther in
in
the
the
comics is such
way-
a big character, and he was already
Yeah.
big. I mean,
He is, and I'm happy they made
Well,
this movie. I just want to say,
In
but
Wakanda too.
You
It's
gotta
Wakanda.
remember about too the representation that came from the first one. Like the
I was
first
gonna
one
say, it
broke
was-
fucking records, dude. And on top of that, the way that he went out, like this doesn't like it's like a weird way to say it, but like he went out to like a cancer, It's
Yeah.
not like he went out because he was being like a bad person or anything like that. And
Yeah.
like you get gunned down in
like
the
he
streets because
OD'd
he's
or
an
something.
asshole. Like, yeah, exactly. And like so for him to go out that way, it's just shitty. Everyone knew he was a great guy. Like cancer could fucking kill anyone, and that's what we saw. So like to that extent, like yes, this would be a reason to cancel it, but also Chadwick Boseman had way more going than just being the Black Panther,
yeah,
100%.
And
That's
I think
what's-
the
sorry.
first Black Panther had way more going, other than the fact that they not introduced Black Panther, but gave like a story of Black Panther, like it
Mhm.
introduced Wakanda, like
Mhm.
the full vast like realm of it.
Yep.
yeah.
But you got to take into consideration for Black Panther 1 that it's like a good movie. Like you go in, it's that feel good, happy, like action. You're waiting for it. Like you're on the edge of your seat. Like you're excited to watch it.
Mhm.
Going into Black Panther 2 is complete opposite of Black Panther 1 because it's a grieving movie.
Mhm.
You're not there like
Besides
trying to have a
grieving
good time,
things, but
which is
yeah.
like that's like one of the newest things that we've had to like witness in the MCU. Like that's probably one movie where it's unsettling. Like it's not like, oh, you gotta watch this, like it's badass. Like
Mhm.
yeah, it is badass, but if you follow the story, like anyone that's watching those movies does, like you're like, oh shit, like I gotta go through this again.
No, and that's
Two
the thing
things.
too, is like you could make the argument that, oh, well, maybe they wanted to make this movie as a cash grab because the first one was so successful. But no, like every actor and actress in this movie fucking brought it. You could feel the emotion
Oh,
behind
yeah.
all their
100%.
like they put their like they worked their ass off, like really.
Mhm.
And you could see it in all their different, scenes and everything and their character developments. So
But
that
the-
right there like proves that this movie should have been made.
Thing about the cash grab is that there's like other aspects, not just making the movie in general. It's like pieces that they set up for future Disney Plus products.
Well, see,
Like,
and that's what I was gonna say.
The Midnight Angels, is that what they were called?
Okoye is getting a show.
Yup. And then the
Wakanda's also getting a show.
Dora Milaje, yeah, they're all
Yeah.
getting like a show. And
Yeah.
obviously Riri Williams is getting Ironheart.
Yep.
And a lot of people were on the fence, like saying, was her like coming into that story kind of like a takeaway from the actual plot?
Well, do you think she was originally in
No.
that movie when Chadwick was supposed to, or do you think they kind of added her in
might have
when they
been-
rewrote it?
I
thought it
mean,
was a
maybe
smaller
they
part.
blend.
I could see that one
Okay.
going either way because again, like the way that her character was wrote, like yeah, like it almost feels like her making the machine that was able to find vibranium. Like that would be like a reason, like if they did bring that in the original script, like Chadwick would have brought her out, and then on top of that, though Chadwick probably would have played Big Brother to her, like the way he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Like,
I felt
obviously,
like
his
it was
Well,
written
Brian,
very well.
since you brought that up really quick, have you guys heard the theory to that? Because when she talks about how she made that device, she was dared by one of her professors.
Yeah.
We don't know who that professor is. A lot of people think it's the leader, who's going to be in Captain America 4. Have you heard about that, Mike?
I know exactly where
I
you're
didn't
going with
hear
that.
about
Yeah.
that.
I have not heard about that.
Yeah, because you don't know who the professor is, right? And the
Mhm.
professor took this and sold the idea to the American government. And no one really knows why, who the professor is. It was kind of like a big plot hole. People think it's the leader and that it'll be from that movie.
Well, apparently she's going to be a really big part of the MCU going forward.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Riri
Well, they're
Williams.
doing everything towards the Young Avengers. Take Riri Williams into consideration and the ending credits.
So we can say it.
T'Challa
We can say it.
Jr.
Yeah,
Yeah.
T'Challa Jr.
Yeah, I mean T'Challa,
Prince-
he's
Prince
not even-
T'Challa, we should say.
Prince T'Challa,
Yep.
and I mean
Which
that's
also
what they've been
that
building
scene-
for, and I think that they did a great job closing out Phase 4 with this movie, even it being like a grieving movie and it's sad as hell, like but it sets up for like now we know like regardless, just from MCU wise. It's like shit's about to hit the fan now. Like season 5 is coming, and with Ant-Man, it's about to be fucking sick. So
Yeah.
like,
Well, one thing
that's
I
something
think
to
I
look
like
forward
about
to.
this movie too, that it kind of lowered my expectations after Doctor Strange having like that sequel. I think this is a really good sequel to Black Panther 1. And I think for like Doctor Strange, we've got away from the fact that it still was a sequel to the first Doctor Strange. We kind of like indulged into like, oh, this is a big universe and there's so many things that can happen. And we had this like these high expectations. And obviously it's a little different, grieving Chadwick Boseman and stuff like that. But this is a really good follow-up and a good
I agree
sequel
because
to the
it's
first
like
Black Panther.
it's like as if like in the Doctor Strange perspective for Multiverse of Madness, it just got too fucking big for what it was, Like
Yeah.
Captain America 1 and 2 were fucking phenomenal.
This
and
felt
then
grounded.
3 worked well because it was the third one, but it was something huge and like it fit well. Versus Multiverse of Madness, if you're gonna call it a sequel to fucking Doctor Strange, like that's not it. Like we didn't get much building towards.
It's hard to
Doctor
top
Strange.
Doctor Strange 1, man.
It
And
really
don't call
is.
it, and don't call it a
wrong.
multiverse of madness if you're only
And you're only gonna go to one
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah,
one other.
But that's why, like, I mean, that's just bad writing. And like, yeah, everyone was happy for Sam Raimi and all those guys, but like,
I don't think he
you
did a
tried
good
and you
job with that
failed.
movie, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just not his thing. Just like Ryan Johnson with Last Jedi and Knives Out, like, it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
But
I
think-
agree, Mike. This was actually like what I would consider a good sequel. And again, it's crazy because Chadwick Boseman's in like a grand total of 2 minutes of this film.
Well, how
I
good
think
did it
I think
feel
it
Go ahead.
feels like a good sequel because it's like you guys said, it's still grounded to Wakanda. Like
Mhm.
that is and it's about the Black Panther and it's about chat. Like it's still Multiverse of Madness spins off into you got 25
shit
different
going on.
things going on.
Yeah.
This is still
They don't try to
grounded.
get too big.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's what made it feel really, really good. Another thing that I'll add to it, gonna kind of bounce around real quick. I liked how I when they introduced like Namor's like plot and his whole idea, like burn it to the ground, kill. I was like, oh god, another one of these. and they go, and at the end, she actually wins, and he's like, he concedes. I was like, fuck, Marvel's doing something different.
Yeah.
We have something new.
That was
not killing
great. I
their
was gonna
villains.
say that's before. Like it felt good watching this movie and knowing, like, wow, they're not killing Namor off. Like,
Yeah.
obviously they're not going to, but they could have done it in a much worse way than what they did.
100%.
And I thought they did a great job. And like, obviously he's still evil. Like he's like, oh well, now they're gonna come running back to us. Like it
Yeah.
sets up for. a
Well,
good,
no, and
like-
M'Baku said like you're basically gonna kill their god. Like, they're not gonna take that
Yeah.
easily. Like,
And
it's
I
gonna be a
like
forever
how
war.
in depth they showed like Telecon or I'm not sure if that was the name of it, but
let's
like
just
how
roll
they
with
have
that.
a sun, they have like markets, they have schools, they have kids playing soccer
Sports.
like
They
underwater.
created
like,
the fucking sun, dude.
yeah, literally. And
Well, I
that's the
think
thing, like,
Shuri,
it's sweet to see that.
I think Shuri going there too gave her a little bit more like grounding, and obviously like it kind of like persuaded her in a sense.
She was
like,
the
figure-
balance between T'Challa and Killmonger. She was that in between. You get to see it right at the end where she's got
Mhm.
she's the I'm gonna get it done, but I'm gonna be noble too. She was that in
Yeah.
between, which was really cool to see.
Mhm.
Well, what did you guys think of
Absolutely.
Telecon, the underwater Atlantis?
Beautiful.
Sick.
Oh,
was
that
cool.
was so
She was
sick.
badass.
Well, so they're supposed to be as like futuristic as Wakanda, and
Yeah, so I wish they would have showed like how they harvest vibranium there.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they really did.
No.
Like,
they
they
well, and
just
then
show
too, like
all the
Wakanda has like those
vibranium, but they
sweet
don't show
flying
how-
ships and everything like that.
Yeah,
where
and
they get
they're-
around on like dolphins and
And
stuff,
remember,
which
you
is
see
cool.
you see the vibranium from the like core
Yeah.
going up
I wish
underneath.
I could ride a
Wakanda.
fucking dolphin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're riding, killing.
But also
whales,
that was-
or
that's
One
what
thing
was
that was
crazy.
cool. Let me
Oh,
just interject real quick. The sound thing that they did where people would just basically
Dude,
kill themselves.
oh my
like
God,
that
yeah,
one
yeah,
movie.
talk
That
about
was
that.
a way to start it, dude. Like
Yeah.
once you get past the chapter.
What movie is
something,
that?
And you're like, what?
Where they like it's a
Oh,
Netflix thing.
Smile.
No,
No.
it's Bird Box.
Bird Box.
Oh, blonde.
Is it
Box.
Bird Box.
blonde.
Blonde?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not blonde.
They should.
No, Andrew, I'm happy you brought that up because I looked into it after.
Daybreak.
Do you guys
Oh, no.
remember Lake Bell in the movie? She's Dr. Graham and she's on that ship.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is
Yeah.
kind of a big actress to be in this little of a scene. I looked it
Yeah.
up because I was like, what is that role and everything? Like, what was that about? Apparently, Dr. Graham in the comics is like the right hand woman or man to Dr. Doom.
So,
that's
so
pretty
Mikey,
cool.
you almost got what
Little
you
tie-in,
wanted.
little tie-in, little tie-in.
Which
So-
that's something I was going to say earlier. What I enjoyed about this movie is that they didn't really rely on cameos. They weren't
thank
doing anything
God.
crazy.
Bro, I
Obviously,
live for, I don't give a fuck. I live for
obvious-
those fucking
yeah,
cameos.
because
I'm
you-
sick of the
Shut up.
cameos.
I live for that
hey,
shit,
shut the
dude.
fuck
No,
up,
it's
P
good.
brain. Of
I
course,
don't
you
even
live
think they
for
should have
that.
done what they did. But
No, well, I was gonna say the whole what is Riri's character? What is she? Ironheart.
Ironheart.
Yeah, okay.
Put some
cool.
respect on
That-
her.
that-
Great actor, by the way.
That was her.
too.
Yeah, she was
did
a
an
great
awesome-
actress. She
Woman.
fuck killed it. But what I was really happy for, because again, I don't really keep up with much. I don't watch YouTube videos anymore. Like she got the suit. I didn't know she was Ironheart. Didn't mean anything to me. But what was cool was like the only like callback person you see from the MCU, you get fucking Martin Freeman again. Martin Freeman, and it like actually worked with the plot. You know, it's not like they're bringing someone in just to be like, oh, he was in other movies. Like, no, Martin Freeman was in the first fucking movie. He's here to help out the Wakandians and like make sure they don't get fucked over for something they didn't do. And I thought that was another good thing that like didn't piss me off. You know, they didn't go over the top. They're just like, hey, here's a great supporting actor to help you guys out.
But yeah,
Andy
but then
was,
they kind of
Andy was
ruined it.
married.
Yeah, they kind of ruined it by pushing Val in here. Oh, here
That's the
goes
thing,
Disney
though.
Plus
Fucking
show.
Val.
Yeah.
Dude,
Those
honestly, I
Thunderbolts.
don't. If we're gonna talk about Val now, we're talking about the Thunderbolts, and
But that's
I
what this is
really-
going to tie
building
into.
up to.
I really don't have high hopes for the Thunderbolts.
I don't even know
think
what the
Look at the-
Thunderbolts
look
are.
at
Why they got
Explain
Harrison
it.
Ford in it?
Me neither, Bry.
Someone
the group
explain the
that they have
Thunderbolts
for
to me?
Thunderbolts is awful. It's like
Thunderbolts
anti-heroes.
is
It's
their-
like the Suicide Squad.
It's like their Suicide Squad. So like Red
Okay.
Hulk's in it.
Which is
Winter
supposed to be
Soldier will
Harrison
be in it.
Ford.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
I
U.S.
think
agent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
US
for this
agent.
next
It's all the
next
knockoffs.
phase, obviously they're ending with Thunderbolts, so that's
Yes.
what they're building up to. When's the end of Phase 5? Is it like
I mean, everything
end of
just got delayed,
2023?
so I don't know.
No, 2024.
Oof.
End of 2024?
I believe
we
so,
don't get
yeah.
the
It's
Endgame.
the next 2 years.
We don't get the Infinity or not Infinity War Avengers movies till 2026. So.
Yeah, 2026. So yeah.
What?
So,
Hey,
Holy
hey,
cow.
go back.
Two
We can go back to the previous videos and podcasts. What did I say about those 2 Avenger movies? They're gonna get delayed like always.
one already did.
Well, yeah, it's inevitable.
Well, I mean, if they
That's
get
fine,
delayed,
take your
it's
time.
kinda
They
crazy.
should.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you put out
but
movies
that's
like
because
this,
now
delay.
they have Wakanda shows coming out. They have fucking Aiden Bender show coming
Seeing
out.
again, I don't even
Oh, I
need
don't
all
remember that
that. I
one
don't
getting
need
funded.
a goddamn Wakanda show. Just fucking make the movies. Keep it rolling.
I would get
So-
to film the pilot.
Also, one thing that I want to bring up too that we kind of touched on a little bit before, but Andrew said it, I think, where this is like the first real threat that Wakanda truthfully had, I feel like,
Mhm.
to like the city as a whole. And that kind of reminds me of like Superman. And I know it's a really weird comparison, but you have this like really OP thing. Superman versus Wakanda, okay? They're both OP in their own sense. A whole bunch of all the barriers that Wakanda has, you know, the invisible shield around it, and Superman's obviously Superman. If you can find a way to bring threat to something that OP, that's when you kind of bring me into the story and truthfully get my attention for characters in, you know, cities like that.
I
And
think that's
what
a
I really like
great
about
point.
this movie.
And I actually told Josh, I said, it's with those kind of things within the superhero movies where you're kind of like, fuck, like, can we just get like a Doctor Strange in here or a Thor to like help out these good guys? Like, can we get one of these like one of these real badass motherfuckers that are
Everyone's always
unstoppable?
busy.
Yeah.
Well, they said that Namor is as strong as Thor on land and as strong as Hulk in
When
water.
he's in the water.
Yeah.
So I
That's
mean, like they
wild.
didn't really show that too much. Like
Well,
they
see-
showed him punching through.
And to be fair, they have to kind of downplay to Shuri a little bit. Shuri's nowhere near as experienced
oh,
as.
she's just a warrior now.
Well, I mean, the only
T'Challa
reason
was.
she was
That
able to
is not
best
the
him
W
was
word I thought
because
you were gonna say.
she dehydrated him, right? So
Yeah.
you know
Well,
what I mean.
she used
Yeah,
her,
I mean, that was cool.
She used her
used
smarts and her bronze.
smarts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
So-
and that's the way Batman can take out Superman anytime, any fucking time.
Until they
Give him the prep time.
No, and like to
They
compare
team up.
Till they
tag
hug
team.
and kiss.
Yeah, until they kiss.
to compare this movie to the first, I want to say the CGI is 10 times better in this movie.
Oh,
Dude,
than
CGI
that
was
movie.
way
better.
perfect in
Mhm.
this.
Yeah,
a
the
million
action
times better.
scenes were a
Dude.
lot better in this movie. But I do want to say Killmonger's still a better villain.
The Namor.
Nah.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think Killmonger's one of my favorite
Killmonger
villains
was
in all the
only
MCU.
good. He was a great villain, but he was only good because he was relatable. It was their most grounded.
Well, that was the thing. So he was the
super
first
villain
villain
out
in
of
any
any of
MCU
them.
movie where you like could see his point of view and take his
You're
side.
like, man.
Yeah, because he
got a
wasn't wrong.
point."
He just wanted to
Yeah, he
give
wasn't
vibranium
wrong.
to everyone, and
Like
that's
his
the basis
story
of
was more
Wakanda
like
is
when
that
he
no one
when
can
he
have
died,
vibranium but
it was
them.
more emotional. It brought like more of an impact.
I
Am
like
wrong?
that he
Fair.
made it to the ancestral plane. And that was another thing with Namor where I was just like, just don't kill the fucking scientists. Like, just let Wakanda
Yeah, that
take
was
care of
kinda
the
stupid.
scientists. I was like,
Yeah.
just let
That's
them
because
leave. They got it
realistically, that
under
should have
control.
been his first altercation with the real world,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and they kind of felt like it wasn't. Like, oh, we've been around this whole time. We're not
Yeah.
seen.
Well, and again, what was really cool about this movie was like, so when they find out about Namor, well, Namor literally comes onto their land
Yeah,
undetected through the water.
and he just
and
woke
they're
up one
like-
day out of his thousands of years,
Yeah,
or however
dude,
long he's been
and so
around.
that's
500
crazy.
Today.
He talks to them, leaves, and all that they can think about is they're like, that means all the myths, all the legends that we've told in Wakanda throughout all the years are wrong. It means that asteroid separated at one point. There could be even more somewhere in the water. And like that wasn't like aspect I didn't even think about when they're introducing this guy that has vibranium as well.
Well, yeah, because that uproots all of their history, which is
Mhm.
kind of a cool concept to like throw. Like, they're like, holy shit, we know. I think it humbled them, really. That's what it
Right.
did. They were like, we know nothing, I guess.
Mhm.
We thought we were the most advanced. There's someone that just fucking snuck in here, dropped something off, and swam off undetected. Like, okay, we might have a situation here.
Yeah.
Well,
But
to be
that's like
fair,
the whole
too.
basis. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, well, to be fair, like the universe is expanding, and eventually they were gonna meet that kind of conflict of like, oh, we're not the biggest, baddest country there is.
Yeah.
You know, we're not the race.
Well,
there, you
I
know
feel
what
like on
mean?
Earth they may like in the universe, yeah, but on Earth they probably do feel like we're top dog. You know what I mean? They didn't. You don't expect something under the ocean. I mean,
Well, in Black
That's
Panther
fair.
1, literally in any other Marvel movie, there's no flying cars besides like the spaceships. But like other than that, in Black Panther 1, they just pull up a aircraft in the middle of a basketball court in Compton. Or where were they? They were in Brooklyn or something like that. And all the kids are like
Brooklyn.
looking at it like, damn. But like
yeah, and they're just like, that's what we
just
drive.
tiebacks. Like it's like I don't know. I think
think,
that
like-
they kind of, and that was like the whole thing on Black Panther 1 was that T'Challa like finally like wanted to share like Wakanda with the world. And then Killmonger wanted to do the same thing, but he wanted to do it more of a weaponized way, where Shuri and all those other people didn't want to share it at all. And Namor doesn't want anything to do with the outside world. Like he
Mhm.
wants everything to be, I don't know, was his plot point, like, was his mission to take over the land or bring everyone down low or just bring everyone from down low up?
I think it was kill everyone on the surface so
That's
he
what I
doesn't
thought.
have,
But that
have
was
a
like,
Well,
threat
he's
alright,
ever.
don't
basing
bother
it-
you.
And he's basing that off of his childhood and the one experience he had on land.
Yeah, because it's all like
Little
he came up
extreme.
there and everyone was like slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
and,
because he went to
I
bury his
mean,
mom.
and then he got cursed
You
as
guys are
the
proving my
devil.
point. You're proving my point right now.
I mean,
Killmonger's
to
better.
be fair, honestly, if we're talking about it in a sense of
Killmonger
like
kind of a bitch though, for
and-
real.
Black Panther 1 versus 2, Killmonger is a better villain, but in
Mhm.
terms of like the MCU and overall, It has to go to Namor.
You guys
Like, it
were,
has
I know
to.
we kind of
100%. We get more
jumped
Namor.
around it. You guys were all caught off guard by him being in the movie, right? At least I was.
Yeah,
Who?
I was shocked. Well, at first I was
would've
like, oh no.
guaranteed it.
Mike watches
Well,
the spoilers.
At first I was like, oh no, is this Chadwick? Like, are they doing that?
With who being in the movie?
Killmonger.
Oh yeah,
I'm
no, I was very pleasantly surprised.
I was
there.
like, shit, okay. And he's like, you chose me.
I thought if anything, it would be the dad and the mom, and they just weren't going to show T'Challa.
So I thought, I don't know who told me this. Maybe it was you, Josh, or someone that there was a rumor that they might, and this would have been okay. I'd have been okay with this if he didn't like say anything, but they were going to bring Chadwick back
In his suit.
No, not in his
ancestral
suit.
plane.
In the ancestral plane, but as like a panther, as the animal, and that was supposed.
Oh, like his voice.
Yeah.
No, see,
No,
it would
no,
have
it'd
been
be a
just like
panther.
that's why I wanted to bring that up because when they turn the chair around, like when they go into that scene of Shuri going in the ancestral plane, like it wasn't, I guess you could say, beautiful enough for Chadwick to make an appearance there. Like right when I
No.
saw it, I'm like, it's either her mom or it's Killmonger.
No, but I
Really,
was worried though.
Killmonger,
that
I was
they
like,
did.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
worried
and I
that
was like,
there
but I
was
had
like
the thing.
If that was
wariness of,
if that was
oh,
Chadwick
fuck.
Boseman, I was ready to bawl my eyes out. Like,
No,
Yeah,
I would've
mean,
been
that too.
second-
I was like, no way.
for a quick
Like,
second,
it
I
got
was like,
dead
no.
silent.
My heart
No,
fucking dropped.
Aiden's right because like it wouldn't have been a good moment at all. So I was worried. I was like, oh, I hope they didn't do this. Like, I hope it's not him.
I wish they would have though. Like it would have been
Not
fine
there,
if they
though.
did. Not there, but if it would have done it like they did in Black Panther 1 where he sees his dad like come off the tree as a panther and then turn into like a human. Like
Yeah.
that would have been perfect. And I was waiting for that the entire movie and we never got it.
Well, they couldn't. I mean, I'm sure they could
And
probably
again,
use
at the same
They
time,
could,
though,
but I mean,
Black
I
Panther
kind
I'm
of
was
kind
like
of
how they
happy
did it.
that they
Like I'm
didn't.
fine that they didn't, but I would have been good to see. Not a
I'm happy
whole
they didn't
scene,
do it.
just a,
what I would have liked,
you know
if
what?
anything, in the ancestral plane is like a subtle hint. Him in his suit, or like you said, like a Black Panther, just like off in like the distance where you see him.
Yeah, that's. I would have
Maybe-
liked a little something.
Maybe
I think the
maybe
panther would
his
have been
voice,
cool.
maybe his
Mhm.
voice, if they would have found a good way to, or whatever the line was to fit the scene in the moment. But other than that, the fact that they didn't CGI him or use any scenes in the past that they recorded before, or that they recorded before Black Panther 2, then
Mm.
yeah.
I've got a question. Maybe you guys can answer it. At the end, she says like, we were consumed by vengeance, something like that. Is that an exact quote from Civil War when he stops what's his name from killing himself? Zemo.
Oh fuck! Is it?
I think it was like,
It might
oh,
be.
you are consumed by. I'm
Probably.
pretty sure
I mean, he definitely said something towards those lines.
it was
so.
some, and I was like,
But how would
fuck, I
she
wonder-
know what he said to her?
He might. I
He
think it
said
might have just been
Zemo.
like a callback. is
Yeah,
my
it
It would
thought.
have been a callback.
Well, too, and
Uh,
I like that her suit. Let's talk about her suit because we didn't mention it yet. It is like it's based off the way Chadwick's looked, but it's also inspired by Killmonger's. like,
Killmonger with
old-
the dots.
Yeah,
and
because
the
she has a
gold.
little bit of both of them, and that's why I was happy that she
Well, no,
saw
those
it.
dots are what she wore in the original one.
Well, no, and she had
It's
it during
just
the
like-
funeral too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean that's just kind of
But
like a
but
design.
the
I don't
gold
think
the
it's really
gold
Killmonger.
inclines, like that's why the
That's
look
Killmonger.
sharp is Killmonger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like and two in the first movie she told her brother like, oh, the gold looks nice, and he ended up picking the silver. So
Yeah.
like she always had that kind of taste. But yeah, that's why I was happy that she saw Killmonger, because she was filled with this vengeance at that time in the movie to avenge her mom who passed away, who was murdered by Namor. So I like that she kind of saw him, and
Yeah.
like especially too, she went into it not believing in the ancestral plane.
Yeah,
She doesn't
the movie
believe in the Panther
starts.
God.
She doesn't
which-
believe in Boss, which is
Yeah, which
Yeah.
we saw
Panther
Boss
deity.
in Thor: Love and Thunder,
Yeah.
in Olympus, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So in the last Marvel movie, we saw the Panther God herself. So yeah, so I liked that it worked really well that he was in it. And
Yeah.
like I said, I was worried at first. I was like, oh, I hope they don't do Chadwick here.
I'm glad they didn't.
I'm
That's
glad
my
they
take.
didn't either. I think
Yeah.
it would have ruined.
Even
Like I
even
said
before-
earlier, that would have been the only spot where I think it, as much as I didn't want it, it could have worked there. But
Yeah.
at the same
Fair.
time, like you said, Josh, that I'm very happy that they
Well,
didn't
and two, I
accept
want to
it
say
again.
this too while we're here at this point. I read this earlier today. Apparently, when they're making this movie and shooting it and everything like that, they have this call sheet, and usually like the star actor, like Bullet Train, like Brad Pitt would be up there, at the first name. they put Chadwick's name at the
Ah.
call sheet first, and then it was Letitia Wright for Shuri, and then so on and so on. But that's beautiful too that they still had his name right there up front first.
Yeah, dude,
before
that's
anyone else.
it's such a tough one. Such a talented guy, just gone. And like aside from acting, like he just always kept under the radar, and he was always just a good person.
Yeah,
You
not a lot of
know?
drama.
Yeah,
happening.
he's not one of those Hollywood actors where you're constantly hearing about them in the fucking news about
The-
them something stupid or ignorant.
The end when they do like the basically like the memories of him, I was like, ah, fuck, here we
dude.
go.
And like I think I don't know, actually I don't think I talked to any of you guys about this yet, but yeah, so when they were showing those scenes, like fuck, like he's getting emotional. But the one that really got me is when he came out with like the African like flag, around like his neck, like the scarf thing. That's what got me, because like I remember seeing Chadwick actually like wear that in person. Yeah, it's like fuck, dude. Like they could have just used a real clip right there.
Yeah. And her burning the robe, like
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
whole
so-
like it
end-
tied in so well.
But that's
Yeah.
but so like
So
I don't know,
sad.
maybe you guys can say your thoughts on this, but I feel like that ending scene where she's on the beach burning the funeral gowns, like coming to peace like with his passing and all that.
The grieving period
I
is
think that
over.
it ends on a perfect note, and then you get that end credit scene or mid credit scene where it reopens that scene, and then that's when it's not Okoye, it's whatever his wife or his partner
Nakia?
Nakia, she comes down with T'Challa Jr., Prince
Mhm.
T'Challa. And I mean,
Which
I
is-
feel like that would, like, you were upset, and then it's like, oh, like, no way. And like,
Mhm.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
like
it's
it
still
was a
sad,
great
too.
closing.
It was still sad because you got to think like they talk about him having a funeral. You're like, this kid's gonna grow up without a dad, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
but he
and
knows,
and,
like,
and the
that's
real
thing.
life death. It's just like
Yeah.
it keeps
And they asked the
pouring
perfect
in.
question too. Did my mom meet him? Yes, she
Yeah.
met him,
Mhm.
and she kept it a secret.
Yeah.
But then it's
Well,
like,
and
why the
that's
hell
why-
would she keep that a secret?
And it was a
Now it just-
callback to when Ramonda earlier on in the movie was yelling at Okoye when she gets fired, saying like, my whole family's gone, which is a powerful scene. She's not saying they're all dead because T'Challa Jr. is still out there and she met him, so I think that's a cool like little callback thing that you noticed too.
Yeah.
And then too, just to say it, I know everyone's been saying it, but Angela Bassett, I believe is how you say her name, Ramonda, amazing.
Amanda.
She should be nominated for something.
Dude,
Oh,
even
yeah,
on Black
without-
Panther 1,
Powerful as
she was
hell.
great.
Dude,
Mhm.
in this movie though, like that
Yeah,
scene with
it's-
Okoye,
That one scene, yeah, when
Whoa.
she blows
So-
up, I was like,
whoa,
No, that's one of the
fuck.
best scenes in like probably Marvel history, realistically,
So
like
cool.
acting wise, because we see Okoye and they never break. Like, yeah, they have like little funny bits and stuff like that where they'll laugh, like especially in the dorm room. But like Okoye breaking down, crying, losing, and like Angela Bassett's character, the Queen, like she's just going in, man. And
Yeah.
it's just like it's a powerful ass
dude.
scene.
And when she saves Riri from like drowning,
oh, and then she dies. I'm
who's
like,
not even who's not
I'm
even
surprised
part
she
of.
died. I did not expect that.
I am
isn't
like,
even
can you
in
give me a
Wakanda,
break in the
like-
goddamn
yeah, that's
movie?
two
Yeah.
deaths.
Yeah,
And
It's
I'm
crazy.
feeling for her. I'm like, Shuri has no one now.
Yeah.
Her family
I'm shocked
wiped.
they went
The
there.
whole family wiped in like what 3 years, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why, I mean, it was like literally
just
a
points, like,
character
8.
builder from
Yeah,
the opening
the
scene
snap.
till the end for Shuri. Like that's
2
what I
years
like.
our time.
I kind of didn't mention this, but like being a second movie, a sequel to Black Panther 1, it felt like an origin story. The fact that we got all that, like it was 2 hours, almost 3 hours long. It was just so much lore from start to finish. We saw all of Telecon. We saw Shuri from angry as shit to powerful Black Panther.
Coming in peace.
Yeah, coming to peace. And then we see her having a nephew, T'Challa's son, and all that stuff. Like it's just like so much is going on in just
Did you guys
one film.
Did you guys think that this movie was too long, too short, or just perfect?
thought it
Before
was-
going into it, I thought, 2 hours 41 minutes, like that seems really really long. But I'll be honest, the movie did not drag at all. That 2 hours and 41 minutes flew by. I did have to pee, but
That's the
So did
only
I.
bad
There's
part, man.
literally- I
Like,
kept thinking about it.
An hour and a half left.
dude, I kept thinking about it after seeing the movie over and over again. I'm like, honestly, there's nothing I could have cut.
Okay,
I mean,
that's-
really,
that's how I
right? I
felt
mean,
too.
Yeah, I
I
don't know
would've
how you
cut the
guys
battle
felt.
scenes. If I'm being honest, I would have cut the battle scene.
really.
I didn't like that. I mean, I
All the,
understand
all
like,
the veil scenes.
yeah. She did nothing.
Oh,
I
It
mean, yeah,
wouldn't
she
have
just
had
said
Martin
no, but
Freeman,
that's
really.
why like it's just a money grab for Thunderbolts. Like that's gonna be. I understand that it's progressing the story in some way.
Yeah, but she's supposed to show.
How many times has she been in a project in Phase 4? It has to be at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
Three, I think.
What else?
this might be the 4th.
End of Black Widow.
End of Black Widow. End of Captain or Falcon Winter Soldier.
Yeah, those 3.
And she was in was she not in Miss Marvel?
No.
She was in one of the shows.
She's definitely in 4 of them.
Was she in Hawkeye?
They didn't show her.
No, because what's his name? Wilson Fisk.
Yeah, she was in Falcon Winter Soldier. That's the show you guys are thinking about.
Oh, okay.
Because she recruits.
Regardless,
yeah,
though, it's one of those.
Yeah,
things
I mean, it's
they're-
good, but like,
but
I understand. But it's not like they bring anything cool. Like, oh,
yeah,
like,
but
it's just
she's supposed to bring
battle,
the
like-
threat that Namor's worried about is being the United States and like trying to get all the vibranium she can. She said she dreamt of a world where the United States had all the vibranium.
Well, yeah,
So
but
she's
That was a little
not-
too
she's like
real
the
for
villain.
me.
But then
Yeah,
again,
so
like
she's
she's not
supposed to
sitting
show-
in the Senate. Like she's not there when France and like the United States are in that.
Yeah, and did you see too? We
courtroom.
got that new Secretary of State.
Yeah, because
'Cause
they're building
before it
more of
was
a political
Ross.
side for Secret Invasion,
Yeah.
which makes sense. But I don't know. I don't like this movie. Had nothing to do with Val. Put that shit in something else. Like simple as that.
Well,
I feel like
And
she
too,
wasn't-
Martin Freeman, by the way, is supposed to be have a big role in Secret
Secret
Invasion next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. So that's why Okoye broke him out at the end, and now
Mhm.
he'll be on the run, but he'll be
Well,
working
because
with,
that ties into the Wakanda show. Because they
Yeah.
can't have that without him. So
Who's
Yeah.
gonna fight the Thunderbolts?
So they're saying that it is supposed to be their team led by Bucky, which doesn't make any sense, and they're gonna go raid Wakanda and try to like what do you call it? Break out all the vibranium to the states into the world.
What the fuck is Wakanda doing? Like, they're not doing
Nothing, it doesn't make any
anything.
sense. So what are they just gonna? That should have been the plot to this movie if they didn't want to do Namor. Like,
Yeah.
but
I'd
again,
be
why would
calling
they?
Namor
They
up. I'd be
literally
like, hey, the Thunderbolts
nurtured
are here. You
Bucky.
can come wipe him real quick. Click.
Literally, they fixed Bucky's mind control, gave him a vibranium arm.
No, I'm
And-
excited to see how that
and
movie
then
works.
now he's gonna go and he's gonna get brainwashed again. He's gonna go take over. He's gonna go raid.
Damn, poor Bucky.
If they
just
do
put him
that shit,
down.
that'll be fucking. There's no way they do that.
That is-
They're-
I mean, that's
it's
what
gonna be
I've heard.
something else.
But I mean, I
has to be
pray
something
they don't.
else.
do
That sounds
'cause
pretty
it's gonna be
horrible.
stupid.
Yeah, they're supposed to be like this dark ops team, like evil Avengers in a way.
But, like,
Um,
who's
by the
who's gonna
U.S.
fight them?
government.
Who's gonna fight them? Is it gonna be a couple like
It's gonna be me.
Shang-Chi,
Me and
Shuri's
Brian.
Black Panther, and like 2 other people? Like,
Cast
I don't
it.
know.
Sam
It'll be interesting to
Wilson?
see.
We just broke
I'm
our
excited to see it
NDAs.
just to see how they pull it off.
Kevin
I
Feige's
don't
gonna
know.
be
I just
done.
I
hope
don't
it's
know,
bad.
man.
That's
They better.
going on laughing
All I
so
know
hard.
is at the start, throughout Phase 5, they better do something to make me entertained for Thunderbolts or make me like pique my
Well,
interest. in
Mike, we're starting with
Thunderbolts.
Ant-Man. We're getting Kang right away.
It's gonna be
I'm excited
awesome.
for that.
Yeah,
Me
I'm
too.
super excited for the
Thunderbolts.
new Ant-Man.
That's like
Huh? Of
Star
course.
Wars of the MCU.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think if we really missed anything else. Did you guys like what did they call Okoye's suit? It's like the Guardian something.
Midnight Angels.
Midnight Angels. Did you
That's
guys like
cool.
those suits?
I thought
You
it
guys
was
like that
cool.
they did
I
that?
thought they looked kind of corny, but it was sweet.
Well, like,
once
that's
in a
the
while.
thing about
Well, they're
Okoye
flying.
is,
They're
like-
literally flying.
They look
Yeah,
like Predator from Alien.
Yeah.
She did, yeah.
What did you
Like,
guys go ahead?
I was just gonna say the badass thing about Okoye is like she doesn't need any of that shit. Like she is a badass on her own.
Dude, I
But
thought she was gonna
struggled to
die.
beat him that first
Yeah.
Like, Wayne
Yeah.
was gonna die. I was,
I
literally
was
sitting there,
worried,
and then like the
bro.
scene kept going on. I was like, oh no. I was like, bro, she's 100% gonna die. Just how long that entire like action scene was.
Fight scene was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's the
Well,
first time
she's
they
getting her
fought
own show,
vibranium
so it
against
doesn't-
vibranium, which kind of
Yeah.
doesn't make sense because when they fought Killmonger, you would think that they had vibranium against vibranium.
Like they did, I think, for the most part.
But
Yeah,
then
they
she
did.
was like shocked when she was hitting them and she was recoiling back because their
Yeah, well,
weapons.
she was shocked because at that point she thought only Wakandans had.
Yeah,
vibranium.
the
She didn't
Killmonger
know.
war was
Oh,
in
you're
Wakanda.
right, because she didn't see
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah,
didn't see
she was
him.
shocked because her whole life she was told that only they have it.
I don't know why I just thought of this, but can you imagine the day like the MCU actually ends?
And never
Oh, you're gonna
will,
make me
brother.
sad out here.
Wow.
But like,
Wow.
can you imagine like the
Like,
closing
hope
scene they're
they-
gonna have?
they
But
literally
the
hope they
closing
do
scene they're gonna
that.
have for
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna be
how,
like 79.
how emotional we're gonna fucking be if that day actually comes when we're fucking.
I don't know. I
I'm-
don't know when that ever happened though.
They
That's
gotta,
what
they
I'm-
gotta
it's
make
gonna
as much
happen
money as
sooner or later.
possible.
No,
It
never.
has to be sooner or later. Like,
They'll
they're
just keep
I'm
ending.
broadcasting people.
I was gonna say it'll never fucking end.
They'll just remake this shit. They'll be like
Yeah,
Iron
but-
Man with
yeah.
Andrew and Brian.
I liked how what'd you guys think about Riri Williams Mark 1 to like Mark 2? I thought it looked futuristic as shit.
Yeah.
Looked like
Well, I
Gundam,
like the Mark 1 suit a lot. Like, it reminded me of Tony's Mark 1.
Mhm.
And like, too, the way that they had to escape
built
out of
it
that
from
warehouse or that garage. Yeah, it kind of reminded me how he had to escape out of the cave.
Oh,
The Mark
shit, she got an
II
Iron Man suit.
Yeah, the Mark II. I don't know if you guys have ever seen what she looks like in the comics, but it's like the female version of Iron Man with the red and yellow. I don't like the way her suit looked in this. It looked like an anime kind of look.
Yeah, it looked
weird.
futuristic.
I
It looked like
I
a
was a fan.
small Hulk.
It looked
Buster.
way too futuristic.
No, it
Take
looked
me
like
to what
yeah,
her Mark III looks like in her show, and it looks a lot better. So,
yeah.
I'll
So
say
then
that.
the other thing is that she's just a regular girl. Where'd she go? MIT?
Not a regular. She's one of
Cambridge.
the regarded as one of
Smartest.
the smartest people
Yes,
in the
but
whole
then
world.
how does that correlate with how she's gonna be fighting magic and evil and
How the
Ag-
fuck was Iron
Aiden.
Man doing it, bro? What the fuck
Yeah,
are you talking about?
Yeah, he was just he
Aiden,
sold,
he
he
made-
sold
he made
missiles.
Made Thanos
What the
bleed.
fuck are you talking about?
He didn't
made
fight
Thanos
magic.
bleed.
For years.
He didn't
He
fight
did-
magic.
He did fight magic. He
He
fought
did
the
fight
magician on Earth when they came and attacked.
Oh my
Infinity
god,
War.
that was like 20 years later in the story. I'm
No,
talking about off rip.
at the beginning
She
of
just
Infinity War, he
becomes
fights that
Ironheart.
magician.
Wait,
He calls him Squidward.
she's fucking in with Wakanda, bro.
Yeah,
Exactly.
she's got
No,
Aiden,
she's got the
so
most
now she's gonna
advanced
get
tech
sucked into
ever.
Some
Aiden,
Agatha.
She made a
Harkness.
device that can
Doesn't
go
make any
underwater
sense.
and detect vibranium on a
But
dare.
brains doesn't help against magic. Like they
It
just don't. It
does.
doesn't
Clearly
seem like it's
it
a good
does.
match.
What the fuck?
Doesn't
dude?
seem like a good match.
God,
It
bro,
seems like it's
I
gonna be
forgot.
super stupid.
I forgot about that Agatha show, man. I do not want to watch that fuck.
So there you go. Now you got Ironheart. She's fighting Mephisto.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Dude,
I'm
if
excited. for her show.
Mephisto pops up in
I'm
that
looking.
show, I will give you $5.
They
Aiden.
already said
It'll be
it
all
was
the
happening.
money
They
in my
said that that's
pocket.
the
But I'll give you
storyline.
$5.
Well, so
They
and
said
to
that she's
Ryan,
fighting
Oh,
against
so all the
dark
money in your
magic.
wallet, huh?
That's what I just said, Brian.
so Ryan Coogler too is I guess he has a big hand in the Ironheart show, and he said it's gonna have a
Good.
really big feel, like a Wakanda feel and everything like that. So I'm excited to watch that show.
Well, yeah.
At any point,
Riri
did you guys
Williams,
feel like you accidentally walked into Avatar 2?
At a certain
No, this
point,
is what
yes.
Avatar's gonna want to be.
I actually
and
leaned
Avatar's
over
gonna
to
be
Trevor and I was like, "Bro, is this Avatar?" And Trevor was like, "What are you talking about?"
What are they called again?
shit. Avatar will never admit to this. Like, I think that this is a good ass movie, and it's gonna make
is, I'm
Avatar
just
look like
messing.
shit.
Hey, fuck James Cameron while we're on that fucking
Yeah,
topic.
facts,
actually.
Is
I
he
can't
even
wait
doing
for
the second
Avatar
Avatar?
15.
Is James
Yeah.
Cameron?
Hey,
and
Is that
the
his
third-
Avatar?
Hey, I'm
And
gonna
the
buy a
fourth.
disc copy
So,
of
but he
Avatar
is
2.
from to direct all of them.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna
if
buy
two
it.
flops. They won't green light 3 or 4.
No, three's
They're
already
already
shot.
made. They're already
4 and
No,
five.
made.
yeah, but they already said that they won't release them.
They'll release three's already done. Like,
Three's
they shot 2
done.
and
3's coming
they're,
out no matter
They're working
what.
on 4, so they'll scrap 4 and 5.
Yeah.
If 2 sucks.
That
No matter what,
seems
3's
so
coming
sorry.
out.
What a
Well, here's
Um,
the thing.
shitty
I'm
franchise.
gonna buy a disc copy of Avatar 2. Tag James Cameron in a video of me taking a fat shit on it because that's how much I
Maybe
do not
it'll
like
be
it.
okay.
No.
So
After seeing this too, like just the CGI and everything, like just the story of it. Like those guys were badass. They're strong. They're beating the shit out of people, and they have no
Yeah.
remorse. So like, kill them. She kills the
Yeah.
cops just cause.
they're like
Yeah,
super
Gamora.
soldier strong almost.
Yeah, they're insane, and that's
Yeah.
what I like. And I hope that they show more of them because
I
they're badass.
I think
Avatar 2 is gonna look good as fuck though. I'm not gonna lie. I know for a fact.
I was gonna
that
say
it's
we've
gonna look
been
so
we've
good.
been shitting a lot
Oh
on
my God.
CGI recently, and we said it briefly, but that's one thing that needs to be appreciated in this movie. I didn't notice anything where I was like, that looks cheesy. Like the whole
I
movie.
agree.
Like
There
a
was
couple
no
moments
fucking
in Black
third eye
Panther
on the
1.
forehead.
And
Like
if we're being
a couple
particular,
moments in the first Black Panther.
What you got, Aiden?
we're being particular. I think the one headshot of her in that scuba suit underwater, was like, oh, that was kind of
Okay, fair.
She's like, wow, it's beautiful, and it just looks like her face. It's like the Thor.
That was actually her
Heimdall's son.
underwater, dude.
Yeah, Heimdall's son.
It wasn't
Well,
that.
I was
It wasn't
reading
Heimdall's
some
son
of them.
bad.
It was they said that one of the characters, I think Namora, can hold her breath underwater for like 6 minutes in real life.
God
Because
damn.
they shot most scenes underwater. And one of the best scenes or shots you could call it is when Shuri goes into the ancestral plane and she gets out of the water and she's dry. So they had to have shot that backwards
Right.
or
Yeah.
in reverse. So
Mhm.
I mean that was sick. I like that. But
Yeah.
all in
Oh, yeah,
all,
I know
dude, it was
exactly
a
what you're
beautiful
talking
ass
about.
movie. Yeah. Where she
Well, they
goes-
did that in the
steps
first
out of
movie
water.
too, I think. Where like I think Chadwick gets out of the water.
He didn't come out of water though. I think it was
He
just
came out of
sand.
sand.
Oh, really?
Right?
Yeah. Or
Oh,
he went
sand?
into the tall grass.
Oh,
Or,
okay, yeah, that's what.
No,
it
he was
That's
under the
what it
tree and then wiped the stuff from him and got up and then went.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before, like, obviously before we get into the ratings or anything, and I want to say too, next Friday we're doing a MCU movie bracket, breaking down all
Yes.
30 movies. Really excited for that. But
gonna be
before
cool.
we get into the ratings or anything or reviews,
You guys are gonna hate
Where-
me for some of my.
where does this movie stack up with the other Phase 4 movies now that Phase 4 is complete for you guys?
Number
Right
2 under
behind-
Spider-Man.
Right behind Spider-Man for me.
Really?
I put this at number 2 behind Shang-Chi.
I like Shang-Chi the most.
Oh, what the
Shang-Chi's
fuck am I
definitely
saying?
3.
Shang-Chi
Shang-Chi's
was
3.
No, no, no. What am I
number
saying?
1, and then this movie, and then Spider-Man. That's my
I-
lineup.
But
think
Brian, what
Shang-
about Eternals?
That's
not Phase 4, is it?
Yeah,
No, I
sadly it
think
is.
I think Shang-Chi and Spider-Man are pretty reversible in my opinion. You can flip-flop those for me. I forgot all about that fucking movie, dude, actually.
Fucking
So-
Shang-Chi was a
great
great origin story.
So Black Panther
arguably one of the best that we ever got. In
I
the
would-
MCU.
I would
Dude,
go-
I love Doctor Strange, man. Doctor Strange
Yeah.
is the best origin story.
That's why I said arguably
I'd go
one of.
Shang-Chi this, then Spider-Man. I really like
So we're in
Spider-Man.
agreement. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, they're not, 1 through 3, like those are definitely the top 3. And
I think I like
Shang
Shang-Chi so
back.
much because
It was fresh.
I had no expectation.
it did.
I didn't
It
even know
felt
what
really
the fuck
fresh.
that movie was.
No expectations. We got to see
And it had
Trevor
some of the
again.
best
That
fight
was funny
scenes.
as fuck.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
the bus
Fuck
scene
Trevor.
alone fucking clears any
It was a
fight
continuous
scene.
shot. Him just whooping ass on the bus.
That one
That's a
was
good ass
so
movie. I might
good.
rewatch that.
Yeah, that's
it's
a
on
good
And the
Disney
one.
Plus.
story's strong too. Like it's one of those gut wrenching, like oh shit, like his dad is just
His
crazy.
fighting style too.
And he's
is
That's
just
what
so
he's making him
cool.
literally a warrior, like from
Yeah.
like
Well, I think I can
Age
kind of
3.
talk for all of us too. We all like that, like, I don't know what's the word, like that fantasy, like the fantasy stuff, right? When they get into
open a new
um,
world.
yeah, it's like a
there's
that
damn
was-
dragons.
They got the dragon
was-
at the
That
end.
was cool. Yeah, it was different.
that was so cool. It brought like a whole
But-
like new element.
so
to
the
the
one
MCU
thing
for
I
me.
Made me
mean-
think of Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, if we're gonna go into like Shang-Chi, I did not like the villain at the end, like the big creature in the sky. Thought it was kind of
Dragon.
cheap.
Come on.
Oh, it wasn't a dragon. It was like a big like bat or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
had the dragon.
Hey,
on
maybe
their
you need to
side.
rewatch the movie again, bro, and get your facts straight before you talk.
No,
How about
he had
that?
the dragon, idiot.
You
Yeah.
the
Like a
dragon,
big
you're the dragon.
demon.
I'm the dragon. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
and
but
rewatch the
I didn't
movie.
like that.
Dragon
And
That's
Rewatch the
let's
movie
roll
and
with
then talk.
reviews.
All
No,
I
it's
all I
all
know is this bracket's gonna be fun as
Yeah,
fuck
I'm really
next week.
excited for that.
I'm gonna drink a couple brews for that one so I can get aggressive with it.
Yeah,
no,
I have a
well,
couple. I have a couple
I'll
of
huff
those
a
that I'm
little
gonna
bit
die
of
on.
Just a little duster to take the
Sponsored
edge
by
off.
that's what they call the party pack.
no, we're gonna completely shuffle them so like none of us know before really going into it what movie stacks up against
Iron
what.
Man
So like,
3 clears everything.
yeah, it might, and honestly,
It
might.
is Christmas time. We're coming up on
It's
it.
better than Endgame.
We'll see.
It is
Like Mike
Christmas
said,
movie.
there's a few that like, and what's cool about this is like, so when we did our franchise movie bracket, some of us hadn't seen some franchises. All of us have seen all these Marvel movies.
Mhm.
Some of us have seen each one multiple times.
Yeah.
When we go into this, it'll be fun. So I'm excited for that.
You know what I
Um,
want us all to do before we do that? Let's all rewatch Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Hey,
So
Mikey,
so it
Mikey,
falls lower.
Mikey, you
No,
can
so we
watch
can give
it.
it a sec.
You can watch it and you can send us your favorite clips. You can
Yeah,
send
yeah,
us all
just
about
2
it.
of them.
The end credit scene.
No, yeah.
know,
So I'm super
I'll
excited
actually
for us to
watch
do that.
Eternals for the fucking list for you guys.
Is that the only one you haven't seen?
And Black Widow.
Okay, you gotta watch both then.
I'm not gonna watch Black Widow. I've seen enough of it.
I,
I've watched,
honestly, I think Black Widow might be better because it's a lot less.
I
it's not as long.
disagree.
Why
I
do you guys
disagree.
shit on
But then again,
Eternals,
they-
bro? I
they-
Yeah, I'm
love
with
sci-fi.
Mike.
You gotta think-
All right,
I love
hang
the
on, hang on, we'll
sci-fi,
take
man.
this. We'll
Chris's
take-
name 3 characters.
No, you gotta think the best part about Captain Marvel is that they introduced
I'm
the
going through a
Skrulls.
tunnel. Sorry.
Skrulls are
Harry
sick.
Styles, Kitman, and
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Galactus.
Right before fucking ratings.
All right. Ratings for Black Panther 2 as we finish this out here. Who wants to start us?
Brian, you go
I'll
ahead.
start us off. I'll start us off.
Mike's
I'm gonna give you it right off rip. I'm going to go 87 out of 100.
All righty.
Wow.
I think this was a really good movie.
This guy
And
is
I-
not Wakanda forever.
I think that's a
He's
really good
Wakanda.
rating.
He's Wakanda.
No, that's a really good
forever.
score. That's a really
That's a really good rating in my opinion.
I
That's
like
like
that
really
movie.
close to what I'm going with.
They do a really good job of following up the first Black Panther. And I think I like that because they don't try to get so big with the MCU like they did with Doctor Strange. They made it a sequel to the first Black Panther, and that's all it was. It closed out Phase 4 in a really good way. and it was a really good tribute to Chadwick Boseman. Obviously, just the opening and the end credit scenes alone are just something that can just make you kind of just sit for a second and just really think about things. So I'm really glad how they handled that with with his death, obviously. But besides that, I think Shuri's character development was really, really good as well. And I'm actually pretty happy with how they handled Namor as well. The fact that they didn't kill him off was a really big W for me, like they did with like Gore and stuff like that in this phase. So 87.
I forgot about that.
Nice. Good score. Good score.
Stupid. I can backpack off of that. I think that, like you said, I mean, it's super hard for them to even make this movie. And like we were talking about previously, like, should they have made this movie? I think they made the right choice. I think they wrote it correctly. Like I said, like, you can't really do anything other than this. It paid tribute to Chadwick Boseman. It gave all those great actresses. Pretty much, this movie's like full of women. And like, I mean, each one of them does an insanely good job. And like, people were trying to push Angela Bassett for a Oscar.
Hope she gets one.
Yeah, but then
Nominee,
again,
at least.
Marvel movies don't get those type of awards.
Which
They're not
kinda
cinema,
sucks.
according to Martin Scorsese. But I mean, all in all, like, I thought Namor was sick. Telecom was badass. I hope that we see more Namor here in the future. I mean, really, what project is he going to be in? You got to think about that. Hopefully we see him in like Secret Wars or something like that. But I mean, it was great. It was a powerful ass movie. It's definitely a must see. Shuri's character development is one of a kind in like the MCU that we've seen so far. And I mean, I thought they did a good ass job with this. They should definitely make villains more like they did Namor in Killmonger. That's two badass villains for one character, like for one Black Panther movie.
For Wakanda.
So yeah, I think that I feel confident giving this a 92 out of 100. I enjoyed it. It was long as shit, but I mean, it was worth it.
Yeah. And I'll backpack and shimmy off that.
What are those? That's backpack and shimmy.
Is not a thing, boys.
Really quick.
I don't know what the hell he
Piggybacking.
just said.
Piggybacking.
He said he's about that shimmy.
Also, I think this movie had the highest gross for a November film, period, and it's not even halfway through the month.
Wow.
Yeah, well, because it was
hasn't even been a week.
projected.
Well, I don't
It was
think it's
projected
doing-
345 million in the first weekend.
What did they just say that it outdid in its entirety? Did you
Oh,
see that?
Half movies out.
Isn't it all Black Adam?
Yeah, it was. It was Black
Yeah,
Adam.
yeah, they fucking smoked
As long as Black
Black
Adam's been out,
Black
it just
Adam
did that
in
opening
the
week.
space.
Well, if The Rock would have advertised this movie being out more.
Yeah, if he didn't make that remark about Queen Elizabeth,
Hey,
If I didn't know in
Listen.
every post of The Rock's that Black Adam was coming out, whatever day it came out.
not that
If
The
I didn't
Rock
know he
is
was Black Adam and he was bald, then God forbid.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, shimmy away, backpack away.
Yeah, I'll do a kick flip and ollie off that.
Wow.
Damn. You want me to kickflip on my tech deck right now?
No, it's okay.
All right.
I can just do it. From like the Shuri's character, they could have made her more like, T'Challa's character, which was like this noble, tell the world about Wakanda, bright kind of spirit. Whereas like, no, instead, like she is in this grieving process. She is this kind of like almost darkish character in a way, right? I mean, she is a little bit of Killmonger and T'Challa mixed. The way their actions are and everything like that. So I really like that. I liked like M'Baku a lot. He kind of had this funny presence like he was in the first movie, but he also was like the voice of reason. I like how that they made him king at the end. I think that worked out a lot. He could be king while Shuri is the Black Panther until, T'Challa Jr. steps up and becomes old enough to take over for both roles. Ramonda as Angela Bassett kills it. Like her role, like Aiden said, like she deserves to be nominated for something, and hopefully we do. I mean, a lot of the internet is like going crazy for her right now, so I hope so. I mean, that'd be really cool. Okoye is
if any
even more of
movie's
a
gonna
badass.
change that, it would be this movie.
It would be this movie, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this like Ryan Coogler had like an impossible like challenge going into this movie, writing a movie without your star in it after sadly losing him like tragically in real life. It's an impossible task, and literally he couldn't have done it better, I don't think. Truly. I mean, this movie is emotional, it doesn't drag, the action's great. The soundtrack probably isn't as good as the first, but it's still there. Like Rihanna, you hear her song in the credits. She came back, she hasn't made a single in 6 years, and she came back to make this song first in memory of Chadwick Boseman and everything like that. Very powerful. There is so many things like that, and like I said, with him being on the call sheet first, it's heartbreaking. The way they did the intro with the Marvel logo, they did that for Stan Lee too. I believe it was Endgame, but like even his had music and stuff to symbolize like everything he's done. Is Infinity War? I don't know. It was one of those movies.
It might be. It's not Captain Marvel, is it?
Oh, I hope not.
Okay.
Anyway,
I hope not.
I hope
think
not.
it
I think it
is.
was Endgame, Aiden.
Yeah,
It wasn't.
I thought it was a bigger movie than Captain Marvel.
I think it was a good movie, Aiden.
And before I say
Um,
anything, Brie Larson, you're still a great actress.
Yeah,
and I
Brie
love you.
It
Larson.
wasn't.
Yeah,
Brie
we
Larson,
stand
I
with
know you're
Brie.
taking all this hate to
Brie
your
Larson,
heart.
I
We
think
stand
I'm in
with
love
you.
with you.
They just gave you a shit hand at this universe.
No, I think this is one of my favorite Phase 4 movies. I was really worried going into this movie too that it wasn't going to be good.
You dumb
After the last two
motherfuckers!
we've gotten
Don't
this
ever
year.
doubt me. I said it
I
was
don't know.
Captain Marvel.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Stanley.
Oh.
If you're up
Yeah,
there,
Wow,
sorry,
we're
Stanley.
clipping
We
that.
have to-
That's
and-
fucked up. Yeah.
Hey,
Um,
can we clip that and make a montage at the end of the year of all the times we doubted him?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we were right though.
You guys always doubt me, man.
yeah, let's get the clip too in Fight Club when he messed up with the book thing, saying 9/11 was in like the 90s. Because he's
Dr.
always
Cooter.
right.
Hey, what about Dr. Cooter?
Yeah,
Dr.
Dr.
Cooter.
Well, let's forget about that. Anyway, I'm gonna give this movie an 89 out of 100. I liked it a lot.
I'm gonna backpack off of Josh, piggyback, shimmy on
Crawl
over.
out of the butt.
I'm about to take a dive.
You're gonna fanny pack off me?
I'm taking a dive off his imaginary diving board.
I'm gonna
So,
take Josh's rating. I'm gonna shake it up.
This shit was mint.
This shit was mint as fuck. No, all right, here it is. The Brian Povich official review of this film. I'm coming out the gate. I'm just gonna give it a 91. That is gonna be my score for this. Everything that I said throughout this podcast is the reason for it. Like, you come into this movie and you start off and something's wrong with T'Challa and you don't know what's going on. You find out it's a sickness. Like I said, in real life, we had no idea Chadwick Boseman was sick. He kept to himself. That's what they wrote in for Shuri's character. That's why she didn't know that he was sick. And then he dies, and it sets up the tone for the rest of the movie that it is a grieving moment for everybody. Like, everybody is going through it. You fast forward, Shuri gets a great fucking arc. The fact that she's a mix of her brother and her cousin is like, it works perfectly because, again, T'Challa's thing was that he was too nice at certain points. And with Shuri being as smart as she is, she'll have the heart, but she also has the smarts, and she'll know when it's time to like actually be about the action, you know? And like, if someone's gonna like actually like think it through and not with her heart, she has that aspect going for her, and I think that's really fucking sick. On top of that, you bring in a fucking great, and I'm gonna say it this way, a great antagonist, Namor. Namor really, to me, didn't feel like a villain. Like, yeah, he said he wanted to burn the
Anti-hero.
world to a ground. Yeah, but I mean, it's just like the hand that he was dealt. Like you said, Mike, like he came to bury his mom, and suddenly, like, he's seeing all these innocent people like enslaved, and there's nothing that can happen, like, and nothing he could do, and like other than kill them all. Like, he killed everyone that was in power there, and it's just like, it's a little radical, but I get it. And I think that's just a great fucking villain. To go 2 for 2 on villains, amazing. Tribute to Chadwick Boseman was fucking beautiful. Like I said, I definitely teared up during that. It doesn't really happen a lot, but I knew with this movie, like I even told Josh, I was like, chances are if they do something that's actually like worthy of it, which again they did, this didn't feel too much like a cash grab. Like, yes, they are still setting up stuff later on down the line, but they didn't go overboard. You know, I don't need to see the fucking Illuminati on screen. Like, no, we didn't get any of that. Like I said, I was happy just to see my boy Martin Freeman come back. Like, I love that guy. So yeah, all in all, 91. We'll watch this movie again. Honestly, when I'm home, maybe we can all go see it again together. But
Hold
yeah,
hands.
I'll definitely watch it again.
No, and then too, really quick before Andrew piggybacks off that and backpacks off it.
Takes a dive back.
This movie, I think I laughed like twice. Like it going from Thor: Love and Thunder, where it's like trying to joke.
Like the goats.
Yeah, the goats were
Oh
hilarious.
God, fuck the goats. I'm gonna drop my
This
score
It was a lot
again
more
to a
serious
1.
and emotional, which is what it was supposed to be. So I was happy that it was like that. So
Really quick, when you said 2 for 2, Andrew or Brian, it kind of made me think, if they go 3 for 3 here, are we talking about the best trilogy in the MCU? Imagine if they bring like a Doctor Doom in for that third one, and like
If they did it
Wakanda
right, maybe. But
and
also you gotta
Namor team
remember,
up.
the best trilogy is Captain America. Captain America
Oh yeah,
is nuts. So that's gonna be hard to top, you know.
Especially ending it with Civil War.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what I'm
Ooh.
saying. But if they did do something like that, and they did bring in a Doctor Doom, and they did have Shuri going up against her, yeah, that'd be sick as hell. Like, and
Those are
that's
in
when
contention.
we'd be talking about, oh fuck, like
Did
this
you say
might
Thor?
top.
fuck no.
What?
Said Thor, Aiden.
Those are dog shit.
No.
Aiden's
I like
drinking.
the
I'm
Thor
drunk.
trilogy better than the Iron Man trilogy, but fuck
No,
All
that's
right,
stupid.
save it.
Wow.
for-
All right,
that's
all
a-
right, Andrew.
that
Let's
pit-
hear
that's next
your.
week. That's next
Yeah,
week.
so I'll finish this off here. I got a kickflip, backflip, cartwheel,
Shimmy.
backpack, piggyback, shimmy, tech deck. I don't know every saying that you guys
Give
said
the
in the last-
fucking review, man.
in the last 10 minutes. This movie is really powerful. That's the best way to describe it. It's a very powerful movie. Right from the get-go, you're put into the movie. It's serious. Things are quiet. And it keeps on running. It keeps a nice steady pace the whole way through. I wouldn't cut anything from this movie. One thing Josh said, he said the soundtrack was still good. I mentioned that too. I was like, it was good, but the one in Black Panther 1 is one of the best Marvel soundtracks. One of the
best
in my
soundtracks ever.
Hand in that, bro.
I think it's one of the best soundtracks ever.
That was Kendrick Lamar's
produced an
album.
entire album.
Yeah.
for it.
Yes. So
Who gonna pay
A
for
movie.
me?
so
pay for
that would be the only thing. I don't know. I'm just being picky, but no, this is a really beautiful movie, and I was bouncing back and forth with like, what do I score this? Because I'm like, I don't know if I'd rewatch this, not because I think it's a bad movie, but it doesn't have that same pizzazz and like crazy action scenes and stuff like that. But it's not meant to. That's not what this movie is at all, and it's not made to be. So I don't know if so. I was like, does it get a really high rating? Does it get a little bit not low but lower? And I found a number that I'll settle with, and it's still high. It's a 92, which I'm happy with. I feel good about that. I was like, originally I was going in the 80s and maybe high 90s, but I was like, I'm gonna fall right in between there. I feel good with the 92 because this is a powerful movie. This is about Chadwick. This is about ending out the phase for Marvel. Like what they had to do and how they executed it. Perfect in my opinion. I don't know how you end the phase with that death in real life any better than this. I don't know what I would do. I think this is a great movie, definitely worth your watch. It had me emotional at the beginning and at the end, but definitely worth it. This got me, actually, I will say this got me excited for Marvel again. This movie, I've been falling off. This got me excited again.
I'm just saying, imagine a Doctor Doom cameo, end credit scene, or even
Shut
like
the
a
fuck up, Michael. Shut
even
the
like
fuck
a
up
even
right
like
now.
a
So
Kang-
bad.
a
I've
Kang
been
cameo.
so
My
mad for
Shut
this
up.
movie if they introduced
Shut
something like
up.
that.
Would that
Yo.
not have done anything? Would that not be
Boo.
sweet?
That would've been awful. It's a good ass movie though, and
Fuck
I mean,
you guys, man.
it's such a hard challenge, man. They did such a good job with it, and
Yeah,
that's
for real.
rare for Marvel.
This gets 91 of these for me.
No, and yeah, to kind of close this out, like I said earlier in the episode, go check us out on Apple, Spotify, check us out on YouTube. By the time this episode comes out, Thanksgiving's less than a week away, which is crazy.
I know.
We're doing one of my guilty pleasure movies for Thanksgiving, Tower
Mhm.
Heist.
Such a great movie.
I know, I'm so
Such a
excited.
great
to do it. I
movie.
don't know what.
You know,
fucking score I'm gonna
when
give
you're
this
sitting
movie.
down at the table and your family asks, "Hey, What are you thankful for? So
Small
I'm
Guys
thankful for
Podcast.
Small Guys Podcast.
Yeah, when
I
you have your
think they're
small
like,
guys hat
"What is
on,
that?"
like,
Yeah.
what's that?
And then that's
Yeah.
when you plug.
Andrew, I need my hat still,
your
man.
brain
Oh,
flips the
shit.
script and you start going off. on
I sold it.
infomercial.
I needed to
Um,
pay this month's rent.
Yeah, and
Brian,
it's
I'm-
like
And
we
whatever you
said
do on
too,
Thanksgiving, don't get caught stuffing the turkey.
I'm gonna stuff Brian like a turkey for Thanksgiving. How
What
about
the
that?
fuck?
God.
No, and like we said too, next Friday we're doing the bracket episode, and the movie news will be back and everything like that. So exciting stuff. Yeah.
I just left.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
All right.
How can you can't join at the beginning, but you can leave and join mid? How's that
Shut up, peanut brain.
work? But
All
yeah.
right, boys.
But all right,
boys.
boys.
All right.
Solid app.
All right, love you
definitely, we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
I
Tell your
boys.
sisters, tell your moms, tell your mom's boyfriends, which are gonna go back to me, but tell your
boyfriends
grandmothers, tell your aunts, download all that shit.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
in case you guys
We
didn't hear it,
appreciate
love
it.
you guys.
Oh yeah.
Yep. See ya.
All right, guys.
See ya.
Peace
All
out.
right. One day.